Hi guys, I'm back again and I'm here to do a review on City on Fire. Okay, yes, I finally finished City on Fire yesterday afternoon. I finished yesterday afternoon. And yes, it is quite the chunker. I guess you could say it better like this. I have to say I quite enjoyed it. And I'm really surprised because I wasn't so sure in the beginning. I had read maybe the first 350 pages, and one I got from this book, atmospheric, absolutely atmospheric. Second thing I got from this book was wordiness. Now, that probably sounds negative, but no, I mean it in a good way. And that's because I think the reason why this book got so much buzz when it first came out, yeah, everybody knows about the fact that this guy, was his name, Garth Risk Hallberg, was paid like $2 million or something like that for this, for the writing of this book. And I think what happened was it's more critically acclaimed from the top, from publishers' point of view and things like that. But for some reason, it hasn't managed to trickle down to people like you and I who really, nobody cares what we think. And I think that's mostly because of its size, because it is 911 pages. So when you start with this kind of book, you're going in for the long haul, 911 pages. So like I said in the beginning, I started reading and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, this guy can write. But then by the time I had gotten to 550, 600, I was like, okay, I'm kind of feeling this book a lot more than I thought I was. And one of the main reasons why is because I think it's intelligently written. I went in with, this is pretty much what I knew, which was on the back here, New York, 1977, be there when it explodes. So that's written on the back of the book. And then, you have, I'd heard just that it was about 1970s New York. So I said, okay, let me give this a try. That's when I realized, like around 450, like I said, 450, maybe 500, I started realizing, shit, this is something else, because the fact that, this guy is quite young to be writing this book. I mean, like, in 1977, he wasn't even born. Okay, I think he was born in 1978, and in 1977, I was 10 years old. So as I'm reading along, I'm loving the atmosphere because he has a brilliant way of going about talking about, what his characters, are feeling and things. It's really told in a way that it kind of sucks you in slowly but surely. The characters, there's a motley crew of characters of different races, different sexual orientation. You have rich people, you have poorer people, you have middle class, you have cops, you have black people, white people, you have just young people. You have a lot of things going on. Now, I'm going to put out a little thing there and to say to any of you out there who may not be very, very familiar with American culture from the 70s, that is culture in every sense of the word, culture, politics, music, the whole lot. If you're not that familiar with that era, and I mean in a lot more details in the sense where if they mention a name, like if they mention Dobie Gray, do you know who he is? He even drops a lot of, famous people's names and literary novels and things like that. So if you're not that familiar with those kinds of things, you're not going to get what this book is about. So I would say give it a miss. Now, also I would say give it a miss if you're not used to writing that is quite, I would say, tonic and direct and full of life. I mean, in a way where it's just non-stop. I mean, da 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 da. He drills it into you when he's telling you the story, and it doesn't matter which character it is. He drills it home to you. You're feeling what he wants you to feel through the different characters that he recounts. And that includes there being words that you don't know what they mean. Because I learned me some words in this one, which I don't think is a bad thing. I did not mind, jotting my words down and then at the end of each book, because it's separated, I think it's into 7 or 8 books. At the end of the book, then I would, go back and, I would look up these words and then I'd be like, oh, okay, even more enlightened kind of thing. So I would say this book is a project read. It's one that you're going to read because you're going to be patient enough to get through it. You're not going to get distracted by the fact that, oh, this isn't crack, it's not sugar, I'm not reading this, super fast and, loving it right away. You have to want to get through this book. Now, I'm giving this book 4 stars because that's the way I felt as I was reading it. And I felt it even more towards the end of the novel. Do I think everybody should read the book? Probably not, because I don't think a lot of people will be as interested in this, because you can pretty much say stuff happens and in some case stuff doesn't happen. But it is more of I would say the plot driven side is just as developed as the character development is. Because through this plot, he has a way of taking you full circle with a lot of different episodes that happen. And I think that's very interesting. So for example, you'll have one incident that happens and you see it from one character's point of view. And then maybe 300 pages later, you will suddenly realize that you're seeing that same episode, but from someone else, another character's point of view. That I love it when writers can do that. It just makes it so interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a blast from the past. I don't know what to tell you. Now, I know a lot of people aren't going to like this because they're going to think it's pretentious because, it's true, he does use a lot of big words and stuff. But, I can't fault the dude. He knows how to write, and he got the job done. Now, okay, could he have gotten it done in less pages? Yeah, maybe. I would say maybe... To be honest, maybe he could have done it with, maybe 200 or 300 pages less. Maybe 200. Let's go for 200 pages less. But, hey, you don't read really long books like that. At least I don't very frequently. I can't tell you the last time I read one that was this big of a brick. For me personally, the age I am, I thought it was well worth the read. It was the writing was spectacular. And yeah, I say if you're interested in that kind of atmosphere and that kind of story, I say give it a go. That's all I have for you today. Bye.